What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be going over a bunch of different news from Merlin Entertainments themselves. The first piece of news is going to be regarding Accesso, who have recently actually released that they will be creating a new system to help theme parks like Thorpe Park, Alton Towers, Legoland and Chessington to fall into the COVID-19 guidelines a lot safer. Obviously, as well as that, I'll be talking about a huge loan Merlin is taking out to help them survive through this pandemic. So all of that in today's video. So if you guys do go on to enjoy it, make sure to like, subscribe, anything that makes me know you guys like my content. I do weekly videos all about Merlin parks, mainly focused on Thorpe Park and Alton Towers. However, I do kind of touch upon Chessington and Legoland as well. So if that is something you guys are interested in, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. So with all that said, let's get right into the video. Okay then, so first up on what I'm going to be talking about today is obviously this thing regarding Accesso. Now obviously we've seen these kind of systems working throughout the Merlin Entertainment group's different assets before. Obviously they mainly do run the fast track and queue line systems for places like I said, Thorpe Park, Legoland, Chessington, Alton Towers. And obviously recently they've actually taken on like a new head. I'm pretty sure it's Steve Brown, correct me if I'm wrong. However, he has come out outwardly and said that they are working to create a new system of queuing that does allow Thorpe Park and all the other theme parks to fit within the COVID-19 safety guidelines in a lot of a better way and obviously keep more people safe. Now obviously the main concern for a lot of this is regarding queuing. Obviously with theme parks, obviously queue lines are a big thing, and obviously with this pandemic being really largely focused on social distancing, queuing is a big problem. And obviously Accesso have come in and actually tried to fix this. They'll be implementing a brand new system where you have to book time slots for rides, much like you would have to do for fast track. However, obviously you will not have to pay for it. Obviously this is the same regarding ticket booking. So obviously if you're buying a ticket to somewhere like Thorpe Park and that, obviously you wouldn't be able to do it there, because obviously that also kind of incorporates queuing as well. Obviously this doesn't necessarily mean it will, Thorpe Park and that will open quicker. It just means that when it does open, whether it be this year or next year, obviously they're going to be a lot safer. It's going to be within the government's guidelines, and yeah, this will be mainly used throughout, like I said, the Merlin theme parks, but I'm sure places like the Dungeons and that will be affected by this when they eventually open as well. Obviously they may open later because obviously they're in confined spaces, they've got actors, and it's a lot of different in terms of how it obviously works. There's going to be a lot of shady stuff like that for Fright Nights, not only this year and next year, to potentially be affected. But obviously, yeah, this will cover through Chessington, Legoland, Alton Towers and Thorpe Park. Obviously, they are kind of the closest assets to Accesso, and obviously, if this will be implemented, the Merlin parks are probably the main place that they will be featured. Also, not only will these systems be implemented within theme parks, but the director of the kind of project is actually mentioning that this could be used throughout many different forms of different entertainment. Obviously, he mentioned maybe football games. I don't necessarily know how that works. I don't really watch football, whether or not this would actually work there. They've also said about airports too, this type of system being implemented in there once they open as well. Obviously, this, like I said, this is purely situational when they open. By no means does this mean they can open any quicker. Obviously most of these places like theme parks, football games, airports, all of that are classed as mass gatherings and will still be classed as mass gatherings. Obviously they did also touch upon that. They said they're going to be reducing the amount of tickets people can buy, so obviously they're reducing the amount of people that can be within these kind of spaces like theme parks to allow it to be a little bit more manageable in how they obviously operate the different kind of queuing systems. But like I said, it still counts as a mass gathering, so it still most likely will not be very soon before these kind of open. But it does look very good that obviously people are taking the initiative and helping this stuff actually happen. Because if Thorpe Park opened next year and didn't have any of these guidelines, it'd be a shambles. It may not even been able to open, but because of this, it does allow Thorpe Park to be safe and secure, and along with all the other Merlin Entertainment parks as well, to ensure that they are COVID-19 safe when they do open next year or this year. We don't, like I said, we don't have a confirmed date when it's opening, but it is most likely it will open next season. I 100% can't see it opening this year. It's just getting a little bit too shady now. Obviously, we're still in lockdown. It's just going to be a bit of a mess. However, with that theme, we're going to be moving on to the next piece of news regarding Merlin Entertainment taking a huge loan. With the arrival of COVID-19, obviously the thing that is on a lot of big companies' minds is, are they going to keep sustained within this pandemic? Now obviously we've seen lockdown affecting loads of small businesses throughout the last couple of weeks while we've been in there. It's crazy to think we've been in lockdown for 8 weeks now. That is absolutely mental. However, obviously big corporations like Merlin are also actually starting to worry. Now obviously this comes from multiple sources. I'll link some of the websites down below where I got this information from. They've actually explained that Merlin are taking out a bond. Now obviously this is very similar to a loan, however it's on an entertainment scale. I'm not going to get into what all that means in this video because there's multiple different places you can find out what that means throughout the internet. However, Merlin are actually considering to take this as a tactical advantage to keep themselves afloat and to actually survive the pandemic. Now obviously it's big for Merlin to do this because obviously, you know, it will be a tough decision to take out loans. Obviously, they'll be have to repay that, you know, eventually. But obviously, you know, it is said that this will be a 17-month loan. So that kind of gives you an idea of where Merlin's head's at on when they think their theme parks and things will open again, which, you know, again, is not until this time next year, if not longer. Obviously, it's very, very shady in the way it's going to work because obviously Merlin at the moment aren't too bad. And hear me out here, obviously they are losing a dramatic amount of money. However, most of that money that they actually do gain obviously goes into keeping the rides afloat, keeping them operating throughout the season, especially all their attractions, because currently there's only about 5 of their 150 attractions that are actually currently operating, which is extremely bad. But all those other attractions like Thorpe Park, Chessington, Legoland aren't really having the running costs. Obviously they're not running the rides, meaning they don't need that money to keep them you know, running. And obviously throughout all their attractions that is saving them a bit of money, but obviously in turn they're obviously not getting a load of money from ticket purchases. Any or all kind of future plans for the next year will probably be put on hold for places like theme parks and things like that because of this. Obviously with Merlin taking this loan, that is mainly just to keep them afloat, keep their, you know, income kind of at a steady rate, so when they do open they'll be able to have them running costs there rather than obviously having to kind of scramble to kind of build up their money a different way. It's a good tactic, and Merlin themselves have said that it is to keep themselves living and keeping them kind of surviving throughout this pandemic. And it is really sad seeing these big kind of companies that we all love, you know, really starting to be strenuous within this situation because it's difficult. And you know, as much as it may be difficult for us obviously not being able to go there, it's also very difficult for the people running that because you've got to imagine how many, you know, different people working in the theme park industry are going to be feeling now because they're not able to work. Obviously Merlin aren't able to, you know, run their attractions, as well as that obviously they are saving money without obviously paying too many employees, so you know they're not losing a dramatic amount of money here. However, this loan is mainly due to obviously them trying to keep themselves alive should anything go drastically wrong. Now obviously it'll be very, very easy for Merlin to kind of gain this back. Now like I said, I will leave the link to the articles in the description so you can read through it yourselves to kind of get an idea. As how big the money is, I don't exactly know. Whether or not it stated it on the article, I'm not sure, but I didn't really need to read into it too much. Like I said, it is in the description below. But yeah, obviously we can expect this to affect the wider money groups. Like I said, you've got over 150 attractions that they're trying to keep afloat right now. Yes, you know, Thorpe Park, Chessington, Legoland, Alton Towers are going to be the main ones they're trying to keep afloat. There's so many other attractions that Merlin, you know, will actually lose potentially, obviously, to the coronavirus, potentially delaying their openings. Like I said, places like the Dungeons, Madame Tussauds will most likely not be able to open until later dates. Because they're confined in building states, it'd be very hard to clean it regularly, and obviously that is a problem in a lot of places like that, facing museums, zoos. It's a very worldwide problem, and it's good to see, you know, Merlin really trying to be on top of their game here and trying to get into the best position they possibly can to help them survive this pandemic, because it is starting to get bad. Obviously, not too many people thought we'd be in lockdown for this long, but obviously we are, and it's most likely going to last a little bit longer, meaning that these big corporations and companies are going to need to do things like this to help them get through it. Okay then, so that is it for today's video, guys. I hope you did enjoy. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to consider commenting, give me feedback on how you thought it went. And if you did like what you saw, make sure to subscribe. Like I said, I do weekly videos all about the Merlin parks. Obviously, it was a very, very sad topic today. It's not really what I would usually cover, but obviously I have got a Planet Coaster video coming out later today, or at least later when this is being uploaded. That should be around the evening time. So yes, this may have been a little bit of a shorter video, and it may have been a little bit different, but I did actually want to address these certain things to you guys, plainly because I thought they were interesting enough, and I do want people to know about it. So yeah, like I said, this isn't the only video coming out today. Planet Coaster will be out later. So without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video.